So today we are going to go through the level 3 rope technician test for Park County Search and Rescue. It's mostly a series of knots. The first one is going to be the figure 8 on a bite. When we say a bite of rope, we talk about taking a rope and actually bending it and tying the knot onto both strands. So a figure 8 on a bite is taking this over, coming all the way around, and then back through. So you'll note that if you didn't go all the way around, you would be tying an overhand knot. So if you do that, you have not gone far enough. The figure 8 on a bite comes all the way around that back strand and through. And this knot can be used to tie equipment or gear or a person or anything like that onto the end of a rope. The next knot is called a double fisherman. This knot is used to marry two ropes of the same diameter, and the way that we do that is to take one end and hold it in one hand, take the other end, wrap it around, and then wrap it back on top of itself. This creates an X, and then wrap it one more time, and then you go under the X. So that creates a knot on one side. You can then turn it and repeat the same exact thing. So now this is your loose end. Wrap it around, back on top of itself, creating that X. Around again, go under your X, and now you have created a knot from one end of your rope onto the other and vice versa. Once you have both of those knots, you simply pull, and you should end up with a nice clean double fisherman knot. The next knot we're going to go over is called the alpine butterfly. So this knot is used, it's called an inline knot. So it's used to tie a knot onto the middle of a rope that can be then pulled in any direction. So there's a couple main ways to tie this. The first one, you're just going to throw a loop down. You're going to toss it over itself to make an X. You're going to toss it over itself again in the same direction. Make sure you have two X's that are going in the same direction, and then you're going to take this loop all the way under the first X and through and clean it up. And here you have what's called an alpine butterfly. So again, that could be tagged up or down somewhere in the center of a rope. Another way to do this is to wrap it around your hand, so you can lay it over 1, 2, 3 times. You're then going to reach under from the finger side of your hand and grab the middle strand, pull it all the way over everything and back out, and that also creates your alpine butterfly. This is a critical knot to know for putting things onto a rope, maybe attaching a victim to a rope, maybe attaching a litter where you want to keep the tail of your rope free. Anything where you want to put a knot in the middle of your rope. So at this point we're going to move over here to our second location. Okay, so for the second half of your level 3 rope test, you're going to do what's called a figure 8 on a figure 8 follow through rather. So rather than taking your figure 8 on a bite like you did earlier, you're just going to tie a figure 8 knot right into the rope on a single strand, like so. This knot is for if you have something that you can't clip to. So you need to have that loop for your figure 8, but there's nothing to clip to, so you have to tie the knot actually around an object. So I'm going to take the tail of this, go through whatever I need to tie into, and then I'm going to rethread this knot exactly parallel to where I tied the original. So it's gone through, it's coming back out, and I'm just watching these strands and I'm following it through exactly where it went. So I'm retying the same knot on top of itself there, and that is the figure 8 follow through knot. We're going to go ahead and use this to tie our prusik knot, which we went over earlier. We went over how to tie the knot itself for the rope, which is the double fisherman. So I'm just going to tie that again for us real quick. So you've used your double fisherman to create a loop And this is what you're going to use for your prusik knot. So the way that a prusik works is it actually wraps itself around a main line. So you want to go around usually at least 3 times depending on what you're using it for. After you've gone around 3 times, you're just going to dress this up. So all of these strands need to be nice and clean and parallel. Kind of takes a little finagling sometimes. Okay. So what you end up with is a knot that's wrapped around the rope. This has 6 strands because I wrapped it 3 times. And then as that cinches up, I can pull down and that creates a cinch on the rope. You want to go back and make sure that your knot is not at the end of your line. So that should be offset a little bit on your final prusik. Another method you can do to ensure your knot is not in the way is to actually place your knot over the top of your prusik hitch, which is also acceptable. So the final 2 knots are best learned together because they're tied in a similar way. So first we're going to tie the clove hitch. I think the easiest way to do that is to sort of hold a loop out in front of you and cross it over itself. Take another loop and cross it over itself like this. So you've got sort of mirrored images, and then cross one behind the other. This is a great knot to clip into the middle of a rope, all kinds of uses, but this doesn't slide. In a rescue system, we go ahead and back that up with another knot, but it does cinch down and should stay in one place. So sort of a similar looking knot, but for a different purpose, is going to be your munter hitch, which you can start the same way. So to have your loop, cross one over the other, make the second one that mirrors it, and now instead of going behind, you're going to make them face each other. So, and then you're going to clip that, and that's created what's called a munter hitch. And a munter hitch does slide, and it can be used for a belay on raising and lowering. So you can see when I switch directions, that knot pulls through, and it's creating this cinch around itself to create friction to lower or raise somebody on that belay. For the final part of our level 3 technician test, we're going to go over 3 different techniques using your webbing. The first is a knot to tie 2 pieces of webbing together. That's called a water knot. You begin with 1 piece of webbing and tying just a simple overhand knot. Now with any kind of knot on webbing, you need to make sure you have at least 4 to 6 inches of tail on there. So leave your tails a little bit longer than you would do with rope. Once you've tied your first overhand knot, you are going to take your second end and then just trace it back through. So there's your knot. You're going to slide it back in, follow it around, and back out. So you end up with this sort of double overhand knot that secures your webbing together. Now, there's a couple uses for this that we're going to go over for the level 1 test as well. We're going to come over to the litter. So this is how you would do a litter attachment for a low angle or even flat angle. So this is folks that are probably not wearing a harness but need to hold the litter up for any length of time. So the way that you can do this is run your webbing through the litter, and the location kind of depends on the weight of the patient, so that could change. Once you run your webbing up through, you're going to throw it over your shoulder like a satchel. So once you've got that first shoulder, then you'll pick up the other side, and you will use this side up over your shoulder, your near shoulder, so that you've kind of put the weight on both shoulders like a backpack. So you can lift up, and you can lift it to whatever height is comfortable for you. The great part about this is you're determining the length of your webbing, which means that you can get a litter that's nice and even with people of different heights. The final use for our webbing we're going to learn for the level 3 test is how to rig your litter to your raising system. So this is again only for low angle. So we're talking about where we don't need to have anyone else tied in. We're just using some mechanical advantage to pull the litter up. You're going to do this by wrapping the webbing around the head of the litter. So you're going to come in, you're going to wrap it around toward the middle of the litter, and then wrap it around the far side. And once you've done that, you're going to tie your water knot again. So that's that overhand knot. Take the other end, trace it back through to complete your water knot. And then once you've done that, you're going to take that side, you're going to take a strand from the middle and a strand from the far side, and you're going to, I want the very middle strand, and one from each side here. Get your knot out of the way. So you should end up, if you get your knot out of the way, with these 4 strands that should equalize here. So you're going to end up with 1 loop on each end of the head of the litter and 1 right in the middle. And once you get those sort of cinched up where you want them, you're going to tie a big overhand knot. And then this is your tie-in point that's multi-directional for your low angle litter. Okay, for the final part of your Park County Search and Rescue Level 3 rope technician test, you will need to locate the following items. So the first is your sked. That's going to be found in Rescue 4 is going to be on the passenger side. Right here in this orange bag. The next thing you're going to locate will be over on this side. You're going to locate the helmets and the victim harness. These are going to be on the driver's side. There are 2 helmets here, and there is a victim harness here. The next thing is going to be the ropes. Your 8mm and your 9.5mm ropes are on this side as well, and they are labeled. There's also a single 200-foot 11mm rope here. The remainder of your items are found in the back. So there's a second 200-foot 11mm rope here and 2 300-foot 11mm ropes. The best way to find which one is the color of the bag. So 200-foot ropes are in gray bags, 300-foot ropes are in orange bags. The next thing that you'll need to find is your bash kit. So almost all the gear you'd ever need for an operation is found in these black duffel bags, and those are located for Rescue 4 just here on the platform. Your accessory kit or edge kit is this gray bag. It's got some extra gear in it and some edge protection. So if you hear the edge kit or the accessory bag, that's going to be this gray bag. The litter is always located in this orange bag in Rescue 4. And then the litter straps are always located inside the litter bag. Okay, now we're going to move over to Rescue 1. The items that you'll need to be able to locate for your Level 3 test include the sked, which is located up loose in the bed of the truck. Again, it's an orange tubular item. The helmets are located here in the left roller compartment. There's 2 helmets there. The victim harness. Alright, so this truck does not currently have a victim harness, so we'll move on to the ropes, and those are all located in this toolbox up here. Again, reiterating, 300-foot ropes come in orange bags, 200-foot ropes come in gray bags. There's also the bash kit and that accessory bag, so that's the black bag is the bash kit, gray bag is the accessory bag, are both located in that. And finally, the litter is on top, as you can see, and the litter straps that accompany it are here in the right side roller box. And that concludes everything you will need to know for your level 3 test.